Welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Today we'll be looking at a topic in biology that involves association or interaction between living organisms in an ecosystem. Let's go along as we continue.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
Today we are looking at ecological management, how organisms interact within the ecosystem. But before we go, we'll be guided by these learning objectives. The first one here is every learner should be able to state the different types of biological association. Then they should be able to give an example of each of these biological associations. Now, I have definitions of ecological management. Ecological management, which is also known as biological association. Biological association or biological relationship. Ecological management is defined as the process of protecting the organism and their interaction within the environment. Process of protecting the organism and their interaction with the environment. Ecological management focuses on the biological components and their interaction with their physical environment and the effects on the planet. In any community, there exists different kinds of biological association which can either be positive or negative. That means one organism might gain or lose at the end. Now, these are the types of biological association we have. We have the symbiosis, we have parasitism, we have saprophytism, we have predation, we have competition. Then we have another term that is added to the biological association, which is tolerance. Let's go along. Now, for exam purpose, if you are asked to list the type of ecological management or biological associations we have, most time you don't recognize symbiosis again because symbiosis is divided into two, mutualism and commensalism. So it's best during exam you list the basic example, mutualism and commensalism. Now I have symbiosis is a biological association in which there is an interaction between two organisms where both benefit or one benefits. Symbiosis is association between two or more organisms or two or more species where some group benefits or some group do not benefit, but no group is harmed. Then this symbiosis can be divided into two parts, like I said before, mutualism and commensalism. From the name, mutual, give and take. Give and take. Every member of this species involved in this association benefits from this association. So mutualism is a close association between two organisms in which both of them benefit from each other. When both populations benefit, at least one of them is dependent on the other one. Let's look at example of mutualism. We have this as an example of mutualism. We have the lichen. The lichen is an association between a fungi and an algae. A fungi and an algae. If you look at our well, there are green material that surrounds the well. It is called the lichen. This association is made up of two organisms, a fungi and an algae. An algae is a plant that can manufacture food but cannot absorb water. So the fungi is there to absorb water for the algae. The algae is there to manufacture food for the two of them. So you can see the two of them are benefiting from each other. The next one is nitrogen-fixing bacteria that reside in the root node of a leguminous plant. The plant needs nitrogen to grow but cannot bring out the nitrogen itself. So the bacteria with the power bring out nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it to nitrates for the plants to absorb. In return, the plant provides shelter and food for the bacteria. You can see the two of them are gaining from the association. Let's move on. These are picture of mutualism. We have the rhizobium in the root nodule of plants. We have the sea anemones. Then we have flower being pollinated by a bee. The bee gets juice from the flower. In return, the flower gets pollinated to produce seed. This is another form of mutualism. The guts in our stomach that help us to digest cellulose. Most time when we eat vegetable, our body cannot digest it on its own, except through the help of this bacteria. So the bacteria help us to digest our cellulose, and in return get food from our gut. The next one is commensalism. Commensalism is an association between two organisms in which one of the organisms benefits, but the other is not benefited from the association and is not even losing. Remember, the first one, the two of them contribute and the two of them benefit. In the second association, only one organism is benefiting. The other one is not benefiting and is not losing. Example we have is man and intestinal bacteria. Man and intestinal bacteria. The bacteria only benefits, man benefits from the bacteria because it helps us to digest the cellulose. Another example is remora fish and shark. Remora fish is a very small fish. Very small. So most time it resides on top of the shark. Anywhere the shark goes, it follows the shark there. So it benefits from the small particle of food that the shark feeds, and at the same time, it gets protection. It's like you have a bouncer walking in front of you and you are walking at the back. If anybody sees the bouncer, they run from you. The same thing that the remora is getting from the shark. It gets protection and at the same time it's getting food. But the shark is not getting anything in return from the association. So the shark is not losing, is not gaining. It's only the remora that is gaining. The same thing with cattle egret. The egret help to remove tick from the body of the cattle, while the cattle is not providing, and is only providing food for the egret. So the egret gets food, but the cattle is not harmed in any way. This is another example. The next one is parasitism. We have looked at association in which two of them gain. We have looked at the one in which only one gain. Now we are looking at another one, which is most popular in our environment. Once you remember mosquito, you remember parasitism. Please, parasitism or commensalism or mutualism is different from parasitic in terms of definition. It's different from symbiotic in definition. Once it ends with SM, association. Once it ends with IC, nutrition, process of getting food. This one is relationship. How they relate with each other is different from how they get their food. So parasitism is a close association between two or more organisms in which one organism benefits from the association and cause harm to the other organism. The one benefiting from the association is called a parasite, while the one that is not benefiting is called the host. So most time, the parasite reside on the host, get its food, and at the same time cause harm on the host. If there is no loss or injury or harm to any member of the association, it is not parasitism. Please put that in mind. If there is no injury or harm or loss, it is not parasitism. It becomes parasitism only when there is loss or injury or harm to one member of the association. Now, example I have here is man and tapeworm. A tapeworm lives inside our gut, feed on our already digested food, protect itself using our body, but at the same time cause disease to our body, because the more food it takes, the less our body need to grow and do other developmental things the body needs. So in turn, it causes disease to our body. because it's causing diseases. That is why it is what? Parasitic. An example I have here is the tapeworm. I have the birds. Then I have the mistletoe tree that live on another tree. Why is living on the other tree? It sucks the nutrients from the tree. What the tree is supposed to be enjoying is suck it from him. They are in the same association. It's getting shelter. It's getting support from the tree. And at the same time, causing harm by sucking the tree nutrients or competing with the tree for the nutrients. The next association is predation. Predation. If you look at the example I have here, I have a lion and an antelope. From that, predation is an association between two organisms in which one, the stronger one, called the predator, kill the lesser one, which is the prey, for food or for other activity. So a predation is a type of association between two organisms in which the predator kills the other, which is called the prey, directly and feed on it. The same way a lion will feed on an antelope directly. Why? Because the lion is more stronger and faster than the antelope. The next one I have here is an hyena feeding on a sheep, because it's stronger and stronger than the sheep. The same way a dog or an hyena feeding on chicks, because they are stronger. So association, predation is an association in which one organism, the predator, feed and kill the prey, basically because the predator are stronger than the prey. Now, the next association we are looking at is competition. Competition is struggling or association between two or more organisms or species for a common resources which is limited in supply. Association between two or more organisms for a common resources which is limited in supply. Every organism wants the same thing, but the availability of the resources is not there because the resources is limited in supply. It's like if you look at the Premiership, everybody is playing just to carry just one cup. We have 16 or 20 teams playing competition for one cup. That is competition. Competition, association between two or more organisms for a common resources which is limited in supply. Now we have organisms compete for food. Organisms compete between one another for food. When you see a cat chasing a rat, it is for food. That is for food. They compete for water. Most plants compete for water. Then mates. Some organisms compete for mates, for male or female. If you see two lizards with their tail locked on, or two lizards fighting, then they are fighting for mates. Or two lions, the same thing, they are fighting for mates. Or they fight for shelter, or space, or territory where they reside. Everybody wants to be the lord of his own space, territory, or for light. Most plants compete for light, the mineral soil or nutrients from the soil. If you see too many plants in the same environment, they will definitely be competing for the mineral or the soil nutrients. Then we have two types of competition. Two types of competition. We have intraspecific competition or intraspecies. Intraspecific or intraspecies. It depends on which one you want today. This type of competition is between the same species of organism. Like I have here, I have two hyenas competing for a dead antelope. The same two hyenas, the same species, competing for one food, because it is only one which is not enough for the two of them. So the two of them compete for the food. So intraspecific or intraspecies is competition or association between two or more organisms of the same species for a resources that is in limited supply. The same species. That is why it's called intra. The other one is interspecific or interspecies. If you are traveling from Lagos to Ibadan, interstate. If you are traveling within Lagos, interstate or intrastate, within, intra, outside, inter. So this one, interspecific or interspecies, association or relationship or struggling between two or more different species when the species are not the same and they are fighting each other or they are competing with each other. We said that type of competition is interspecific competition. I have here, we have a lion, we have an hyena competing for an antelope because they are not the same species. They are not from the same group. That is why it is called interspecific competition. Inter, different species. Intra, the same species. The next one is saprophytism. Saprophytism. Saprophytism is an association in which one organism feed and get its nutrients or interact with the dead remaining organism of another one. It will only interact when the other one is dead. That is saprophytism. It gets its nutrients, get everything, interact with the dead remaining organism. Well, we have different organisms that can do this. Example is our mushroom. For example, when your bread spoils at home, how does that happen? That is an association between the rhizopus and your bread that is getting spoiled. So this is an example of saprophytism. The organisms that do this type of association are called saprophytes. Saprophytes are organisms that feed on dead, decaying organic matter. They only feed on dead, like a vulture. If an organism or an animal is not dead, a vulture will not feed on it. It will only feed on a dead, living organism. So saprophytism is an association in which one organism obtains nutrients from dead or decaying organic matter. We have here tolerance. Tolerance, ability of an organism to survive changing environmental condition. You tolerate when the environment is, maybe for example, temperature is high, the organism is still surviving. Or when temperature is low, the organism is still surviving. It's tolerating the change in the environment. That is tolerance. When it is low, if you have here, we have low species. When the tolerance level is low, species development becomes very low. But when the tolerance level is high, species development becomes high. Population too becomes high. But when the tolerance level is low, population level becomes very low. These are importance of tolerance. It helps to determine distribution of organisms. It gives organisms competitive advantage. It allows them to survive where others cannot survive because they can survive very well. Now, these are practice questions. I'll give you a few minutes to go over this practice question. I will be back. Now, welcome back. I hope you are able to get something from this past practice question. Now, the first question, or the number one, the only question we have here, say relationship 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 exists among some organisms in the ecosystem. Use this to answer the following question. It said 1. Organism A grow on dead organism B. A is growing on another one that is dead. A is growing on B because B is dead. The next one, organism C feed on the remnants of food left by D. C feed on what is left by D without affecting D. Remember, D is not affected, but C is getting food from D, but it's not being affected. Now, the third question, or the third illustration said, organism E provides shelter for organism F, while organism F transports organism E towards food. The next one, organism G kill organism B for food. Organism H feed on organism J, causing J a disease. Please, I want you to look at this narration so that we are going to use to answer the following question. The first one says, name the type of relationship in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first one, organism A grow on dead organism B. Organism A grow on dead organism B. That is saprophytism. Saprophytism. The next one says organism C feed on the remnant of D without affecting D. Without affecting. That is commensalism. Because D is not being affected. That is commensalism. The next one says E provide shelter for F, while F transports E towards food. E provides shelter, F provides transportation. That means the two of them are contributing. That is mutualism. The two of them are contributing to the association. The next one is G kill organism B for food. Because G kill B. G is, that is predation. Then H feed on organism J, causing J a disease. Remember, an harm has been done here. This last one is parasitism. So we have the number 1 is saprophytism. Number 2, commensalism. Number 3, mutualism. Number 4, predation. Number 5, parasitism. Now the next question is, in relationship 4, what is the biological term for each of the organisms? B and G. B is a prey, while G is a predator. Predator kills. Remember, G kills B. So G is the predator, while B is the prey. The next one says, name one example of each organism from B to J. B can be an antelope, or can be a goat, can be a sheep. While C is remora fish, because it provides transportation. The next one is remora fish gets food. D can be shark. E can be an hermit crab. F can be a sea anemone. G can either be lion, can be tiger, can be leopard, or any other carnivore that you can think of. Then H can be tapeworm, tick, louse, plasmodium, or any other parasite that you can remember. Then the last one, J, can be human, the host. Any host that any parasite will reside on can be J. Any parasite can be H. The next question is, name the relationship that is most beneficial to the ecosystem. I have here saprophytism, because they now ask, give us reason. Reason because it revolves in nutrient recycling. Saprophytism is another organism feeding on dead remains of another one. So recycle helps us to return the nutrients from the dead remaining of the organism back into the soil. So involve recycling of nutrients or replenish of the contents. The last one is, give 2 examples of organism A. We have mushroom, we have mucor, we have rhizopus or yeast. If you ask that which group of organisms do all these organisms belong to, you can simply mention fungi. This is the class of phylum of all these organisms that are saprophytes. For comments, feedback, and more clarification, you can get back to us on our social media handle that will be displayed on the screen. Thank you. See you next time.